Hey everyone, it's Riley, and today I'm going to set up my bullet journal for the month of June. So if you're new to my channel, welcome here. I share a ton of bullet journaling and planning content. Lots of my content is geared more toward like the doodling side of things. I share my own themes. I share themes that I create in journals for other people. I just give extra theme ideas every month. So if you're just looking for bullet journal inspiration, I hope that you'll enjoy what you find here on my channel. And if you do, feel free to subscribe. And yeah, today I'm actually working in my own bullet journal, getting it set up for the month of June. And I would love to hear from you all in the comments. Let me know what theme you are using for the month of June, or for whatever month you're currently in if you're watching this later on. So let's get into the planning. Feel free to check out the description box if you want discount codes for all of my stationery, as well as links to my own journals. I still have some journals available from my most recent collection, and you can find the links to those down below. So here's the journal that I'm using for the first half of the year. It is the clay journal from my most recent launch. They've got the linen covers, 192 pages that are 160 GSM, stark white, and yeah, there's a lot of features about this journal that I really love. And like I said, I will have that linked below, as well as discount codes for my stationery. In this monthly theme, I am keeping it very, very simple, very, very minimal in terms of stationery supplies that I used. I'm only actually using one colored marker, and that's the blue that you see right here. This is smoke blue from the Zebra Mildliner brush pens. I get all of my markers from Stationery Pal, but there are so many different places where you can find this specific marker. Personally, I just love Stationery Pal. I think they have the best prices on markers like these. They also have really good prices on the Tombow dual tip brush pens, like way cheaper than they are at Michael's, which is where I would shop if I were looking for them in person. So anyways, again, there will be discount code for that down below. And then I'm also using that very light gray, which is N89, and I'll be using some black as well. So as you can tell already, my theme for this month is a whale theme. And I have actually done a whale theme in my journal before, and comment below if you remember that, because that was a few years ago already. It was the very first March that I ever was sharing my bullet journal on my channel, and it looks way different than this one. That one I actually was going off of like a DTIYS, is that it? Draw this in your style. Yes, draw this in your style challenge, posed on Instagram by a creator called Color Lime. And I really love her art. She's not a bullet journaler, she is a digital artist, and she just makes like a bunch of really beautiful pictures, prints, that kind of stuff. And mostly she shares on Instagram. I think she's recently started, or maybe not even recently, I think she's started selling art supply, or art like prints and, you know, little notepads and stationery with her designs on them as well. But she started off just sharing her designs on Instagram, and yeah, I've been following her basically since I got Instagram a few years ago. So she posed this draw this in your style challenge, and it was like a light bulb with two whales in it, pink whales, and then like a bunch of stars, like kind of a night sky scene. And that was her image. And so I took it and turned it into a bullet journal spread, and had the whales not in a light bulb, but then kind of had like stars and stuff hanging from above since her light bulb was hanging. So anyways, that's probably way more than you care to know about the bullet journal theme that I did like 2 or 3 years ago. But I'm gonna try to link that video up here just so that you guys, if you're interested, can go back and just see how my style has changed. Because like I said, that was the very first March that I ever was sharing my bullet journal online. And that actually was like that first year that I shared my journal online was the first year that I actually used a bullet journal on a regular basis. I had a bullet journal for years before that, probably like 3 or 4 years. But in those 3 or 4 years, I had never ever filled up a single one. I had this really, it was really cute, and that's why I picked it out, because I didn't really know much about journals. I picked it out, asked for it for Christmas, got it for Christmas. It was very cute, but the pages were like 80 GSM. And so once I actually started using it, you know, my markers were bleeding through like mad. And so I didn't really love using it. So when I decided to start sharing my journal online, that's when I actually went and invested in a nice bullet journal in order to be more regular with my journaling. But anyways, let's snap back to the present here. As you can see, I'm kind of putting the finishing touches on my title page already. Like I said, I'm just using that one blue, but I did do some shading both on the letters and on the whale itself, just to add a bit of dimension and make it not quite so flat, which I feel like that's something that I tend to kind of lean into, is like the flat look, because I like to keep things simple. But since I'm using only one color here, I did want to add a little bit more to it than just the one layer of one color on everything. So as you can see, I've got my whale across the top, June across the bottom, and I think this might be a record for me. I'm not actually sure. I should check. I'd be curious to know, but I think this might be the first, or like the longest I've ever gone in my journal without using calligraphy for a monthly title page. Because in April, I did this weird, well, honestly, quite a similar font with my kind of retro floral theme that I did. I'll link that video up here. And then in May, I had basically a similar font to this again. I feel like this is just, when I go to like freehand, kind of a bubbly, bouncy font, this is pretty much what comes out every time with slight variations. And so I've done that for April, May, and now June. And I really, really love this title page. It's so different than anything I've ever done. I don't often do like 2-page titles like this. I have done a few, but this one's probably my favorite of the 2-page titles that I've ever done. So as you can see, now I'm taking my white gel pen. I stopped for a little break to like stretch out a cramp in my wrist. I don't know about you guys, but when I am bullet journaling normally, I feel like I can do it like forever, for hours, especially when I'm making custom journals. I just get on a roll. But when I am bullet journaling and there's a camera above my head that makes me go in all kinds of weird positions to do everything, my wrist gets so sore, and I feel like my work honestly is sloppier when I have a camera overhead, because I can't like kind of wrap myself around my journal as I often do, because then I would block the entire process from you guys. So anyways, I had to take a few little wrist stretching breaks as I was drawing out these little waves and schools of fish with the white gel pen. And that is the gist of my title page here. And actually, this idea came to me originally when I was planning out my digital bullet journal setup for the month of June. That video is going to be coming out next week. But that video was filmed first. I did it, I set up that digital bullet journal, and then I realized I just really loved that theme and wanted to use it beyond just the digital journal, because for me, I like creating the digital bullet journal themes, but I don't use it. I don't use it that regularly. I use it from time to time, but really not often enough to take a theme that I love so much and just put it in there and never see it again, you know? So that does mean though that if you are into digital bullet journaling, you can feel free to go to my Etsy shop and purchase this theme that you can just plunk right into your digital journal. And if you decide to do that, or if you decide to copy this theme, use it in your own journal, or use any of the theme ideas that I present here on my channel, I always love to see how those turn out. So please feel free to tag me over on Instagram. I will have my socials and stuff linked down below in case you're interested in joining me there. Instagram is also the place where I do, I post a lot of like reels and then still photos. Obviously, don't do still photos here on YouTube because that's not a thing, but on Instagram, if you want to see this spread just kind of laid out instead of always moving and being added to, you can go to Instagram. I'll post my monthly title page. I post a ton of just bullet journal inspiration, because I post pages from my own journal and from custom journals that I do. And then basically every week, I do miss a week here and there, but pretty much every week I film a weekly setup reel, because here on my Plan With Me videos, I don't include any weekly spreads. I do those all for Instagram Reels. So if you want to see more of my like weekly and daily content, as well as like custom bullet journal setups and stuff like that, you can follow me on Instagram if you want to see photos and reels of that kind of thing. So as you can tell, we have moved on from the title page and we're working on the calendar here. And this calendar is pretty standard for me. The spacing is, for each box, I've got 5 dot grid spaces across, 6 down. and this is just kind of my go-to. You'll know that if you've been here for a while. I'm sorry, I repeat these dimensions in every video because I know some of you guys, this is your first or maybe second time watching me. And when I watch bullet journal videos, I don't watch them just to watch someone do art. If I wanted to do that, I would just do my own art. I watch them to get ideas and to learn how I can put these things into my own bullet journal. So that's why I try to include things like, you know, what colors I'm using, what spacing I'm doing, so that you can take that and then just implement those things in your own journal as well. Now, this page here, as well as the next one, are going to be super plain. And honestly, my bullet journal, I know I've said this on my channel before, but the main purpose of my bullet journal is to just basically speed up my daily life, to help me with my productivity by keeping me organized, help me stay on top of things, know what tasks I have coming up, what events I have coming up. It's just such a productivity tool for me. And as soon as my bullet journal starts taking too much time, it's not serving me anymore. I don't enjoy it anymore. It frustrates me. And I think that might be why I had never really committed to bullet journaling before that year that I decided to do it for YouTube. But so you can kind of see that in my journal spreads. I start off with the title page, and I do enjoy the creative side, the artistic side. That's why I come up with a monthly theme, even though I wouldn't have to, you know, I could just keep it very plain and just write out June in black letters or whatever. But I do come up with a creative theme, but I don't fill every page with tons of doodles. I don't honestly like to spend more than like 10 minutes on each page, max, like 15 or 20 on a title page maybe, but these other pages here take me 5 to 10 minutes, and that's very intentional. If my journal starts taking more time than that, it is not serving its purpose, especially these days where filming time has to be squeezed into my son's nap time, same with editing time and uploading time. So I like to come up with a creative theme, but as soon as I've got that theme kind of out on paper, I just like to move on and make sure that I have the themes or the spreads that I need without, you know, putting in extra time and unnecessary strain when I could be doing something else. Anyways, this page here, you probably can't even tell what it is yet. It's sort of like a habit tracker, sort of like a routine page. I decided to combine both in a different way. I combined those two pages in my May setup last month, which I'm going to link to right here. And I really liked how that looked. I especially liked kind of having my each day of the week kind of assigned a major task. Like one day is filming day, one day is editing day, one day I make reels, one day I work on my Etsy shop, you know, that kind of stuff. But again, I still didn't really use my habit tracker very much in May, so I decided to lay things out like this, where that top section is for morning routine tasks, the middle section is for evening routine tasks, the bottom is other, and then there's a spot for each day of the month so that I can like track those habits. And then off to the side is what I would normally put on a whole page on its own. This is my tasks section. This is such a vital section for me. So I know that even if I don't use the habit tracker tons, I will definitely use my tasks. I always do this. And lately I've only been needing 2 categories. I used to have like 4 categories, but I've just condensed it to home and work, and that's really all I need now. So I figured I could get away with just kind of squeezing it into the margin here instead of having a full page dedicated to my tasks. So as you can see now, I'm going in and just adding the heading here. This is the last page that I'm going to set up in this video. However, I did go in and use this blue to add more dimension to the lettering, both on this page and on the calendar page. And I added a bit of white gel pen on the title page. So I wasn't quite finished at this point, but this is the last page that I'm going to use this month. Please feel free to comment down below. What are the pages that you just can't go without? What are the pages that you try to use? Like I try to use a habit tracker from time to time and I fail pretty much every time, but yeah, let me know, what are those pages for you, your must-haves, and the pages that you want to use, probably should use, but don't actually get around to using that often. Comment down below, as well as leave any questions down below. I'm hoping to do another kind of behind the scenes series this month. I did one kind of throughout I think that was March and April, or maybe just April. I don't honestly recall, but I did a little behind the scenes thing where I took a custom journal order that I had gotten on Etsy and basically just filmed every part of that setup. I do hope to do a similar thing this month, as well as some more pen pal videos. And of course I've got my, June ideas video, June coloring video, my digital bullet journal for June, all of that stuff is coming up. So if you have questions about any of that, feel free to leave that in the comments below. I have been trying to take whatever questions you guys ask and answer them in the appropriate video. Now when I go through my YouTube comments, I screenshot every comment that is like a discussable question. If it's just a very quick question, I'll answer it for you there in the comment. But if it's a question that I think begs for the discussion, then I'll screenshot it and I pull up those screenshots when I'm filming or when I'm recording voiceovers for my next video. So feel free to leave questions for me down below if you'd like to chat about bullet journaling, running an Etsy shop, whatever it may be. So like I said, I forgot a bit of white gel pen here. I'm just going to add that in quickly, and then we'll do a flip through of this month. We've got the title page, very plain, very simple calendar page, and then our habit tracker and tasks page. Thank you all so much for joining me for today's Plan With Me video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.